Hello and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas on Nyxus Gaming. When last we left off, we had killed Mr. House himself, uploaded Yes Man into the mainframe, and we learned that the Platinum chip has a secondary function to upgrade all the Securitrons that are now under our control to a Mark II framework, gives them much deadlier weapons, and it's going to give us the upper hand in gonna give us the upper hand at the dam. Don't ask me why he's still a Mark I Securitron, but he is. It might be because he was one of the ones I was supposed to kill when trying to get to Mr. House. But all the other ones are Mark II now. Now, Yes Man gave us two objectives: to protect the dam. I can't speak. To protect the president of the NCR on his visit to the dam. That way, when the NCR loses the battle, they're all gonna blame him and not New Vegas. And then we also need to upload a override module so that he can control the Securitrons from a long distance. But I believe when we go down to the casino here, Arcade Gannon is gonna have something else for us that we want to do.
Lead the way.
Maybe. He hasn't said anything.
There he is.
I need to
talk to you about something, if you have a minute.
Sure.
Any day now? Caesar's going to try to march across Hoover Dam and kick NCR out of the Mojave.
Caesar's dead.
We're caught up in something important out here. Hell, after how you handled Benny, you're practically right in the middle of all this. I know I'm just along for the ride, but it's made me think about the past and how I might be able to help out.
What are you talking about?
I wasn't always with the followers, or with the NCR. My late father was an officer in a group called the Enclave, a remnant of America's pre-war government. Memories being short around here, not a whole lot of people remember them. But they did bad things. Terrorized communities, kidnapped people. Eventually someone stopped them. I was born a few years later at a military base on the coast, a place called Navarro.
Well, where did the Enclave go?
A lot of different places. I only know what I was told. Some of them were cut down by the NCR and the Brotherhood. Some of them went east. My mother never told me what happened to my father, but she and I went south with some others and integrated into the NCR. When the NCR learned that Enclave personnel had integrated, we kept moving to the fringes. It's one of the reasons why I wound up out here.
What happened to Navarro?
After the Enclave's command structure fell apart, it was only a matter of time before Navarro was overrun by NCR forces. My mother and I left with some of the troopers from my father's old unit, the same people I've kept in contact with over the years. Anyone who didn't get out was killed by the NCR. Even some of the ones who escaped were eventually hunted down by the Brotherhood of Steel.
And where are you going with all this?
The Enclave did a lot of bad things, but there were good people at Navarro. Good people with a lot of experience. Not many of them are alive anymore, but I think they can make a difference in the fight against Caesar.
Do you want them to help the NCR?
That's a hard question to answer. I know I don't want the Legion to take Hoover Dam. So militarily, yes, I want them to help NCR. If possible, I'd like to figure out a way to help the NCR win Hoover Dam without holding New Vegas.
Oh, well, say no more. They're gonna win, but I'm gonna hold New Vegas here. I'll do it.
Great. I'd like you to talk to the old-timers, the remnants. I don't think I could convince them by myself. To them, I'm still a kid. But you're a big part of what's happening out here. When you talk to them, they'll understand how important this all is. I've kept in contact with them over the years, so I know where you can find them. But I doubt they'll open up to you unless I come along. I know I'm not always the most serious guy around, but this means a lot to me. Thanks.
So, we're gonna recruit the Enclave now. The evil Enclave, the main antagonists of Fallout 2 and 3. It's time for them to reunite for one last battle. Do some good in the world. Let's, see what they want to do on this. So, do we have the quest as our main one? We do not. It's for Auld Syne, Times Long Lost. I hope I didn't just butcher that. I might have, but I'm pretty sure it's Times Long Lost. Or Times Long Forgotten, something like that. But the first one we're going to talk to is here in Novak. Yep, the Enclave was in the game as early as Novak. We just never met him. There was one NPC in Novak that we never talked to. That's Boone's room. That's a motel room. Is it this room here? I guess it's this room here. And this is Daisy Whitman.
Fine weather for flying. It's times like these that make me miss it all.
You were a pilot?
Vertibird pilot. 71 missions and only lost one chopper. Rotor malfunction over Klamath. Hard landing, but I walked away.
What do you do in Novak?
I help folks strip down the more complicated bits of salvage they bring in. Engines mostly. The bits and pieces we take out are usually worth more than the whole thing put together.
Did you fly for the NCR?
4? No, not exactly. It was a long time ago. Things are a lot different these days, and those days are way behind me.
Alright, well, Arcade asked me to find you. I'm reuniting the remnants, and they need your piloting skills.
Told you everything about us, did he? Well, it's been a while since I've had my hands on the controls of a vertibird. There's a chance I could crash us in the middle of Lake Mead. That place seems to attract aircraft for some reason. But if I get one more chance to fly, count me in. I'll be there. My part of the passphrase is dear.
So, how did you like flying for the Enclave?
I was never happier than when I was in the cockpit. I was able to go just about anywhere and everywhere, limited only by the fuel I could carry. There were more than a few missions where I took the scenic route home just so I could stay in the air. Caught hell for it every time, but worth it. Some of the things we did were questionable, I know. That's just how it was back then. Figure I've done enough good to make up for any sins, anyhow. Watch your 6 out there.
So that is Daisy Whitman, a pilot for the Enclave, or a
Since
former
my mother
pilot.
died, Daisy's been the only woman in my life. She was the only other woman close to my father, too. She flew him out on over a dozen missions, including his last. I've always been close to Daisy. There have been some good men along the way, but lovers make poor confidants. Daisy never had children of her own, so she was always there to listen. Being in the Enclave didn't mean much to her. She just loved to fly. It broke her heart to be grounded.
It was an important part of her life. Why shouldn't she enjoy it?
As screwed up as it sounds, at least she was a part of something. Granted, it was something admittedly pretty bad, but it was something. If you spent the first half of your life flying Enclave troopers in a vertibird, I suppose picking over pre-war rocket parts doesn't quite compare.
So if you know stuff about Fallout 2, there's a town called Klamath, however you pronounce it, and there's a crashed vertibird nearby, and I think lore-wise it's actually her vertibird that she crashed there. So that's just another of the many parallels that this game has with Fallout 2 and 1. But you'll notice during this companion quest, we're going to start to get to know Arcade Gannon a lot more. He hasn't really opened up to us before, but he's going to start to now. So next, we'll stop by Vault 34 and get this one. Beware of the golden geckos. Is it this marker here I'm going towards? Yeah, it's this marker here. Shouldn't be too far off. But yeah, this is a quest that I always make sure I can do. Because one, it gives us another thing in the final battle that we can do. And two, it's just kind of interesting dealing with the Enclave after they've been defeated, you know? But we have now discovered Cannibal Johnson's Cave. That's a great name or a former Enclave officer. He has this place booby-trapped too. Might want to be careful about that. Cannibal Johnson.
Well, it's about damn time. What took you? Oh,
Oh?
I've been in the Reaper's shadow for a long time now, and I thought he'd finally showed up to collect. He's just mocking me now.
You sound like you're eager to die.
There's a twitch in my trigger finger. I've lost my eagle eyes, and the other day I could have sworn I heard Sergeant Dornan chewing me out. I'm old, and I'm starting to feel it. It's not pleasant, especially when you know your mind's slipping away. And we all gotta go sometime. But I was hoping for something a little more heroic.
Who's Sergeant Dornan?
He was a drill instructor I knew. He was also the meanest bastard I've ever known. Once he caught this private out of uniform, and old Dornan went off on the most ear-blistering rant known to man. It was inspiring.
You served in the military?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. Things were better back then.
Tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Are you a cannibal?
Ha! I'm not saying. It's part of my mystique, after all.
Sounds like there's an interesting story behind it.
The truth of it is that I did cut out a raider's heart, but only took a bite to mess with his buddies. They had me surrounded, and I went with the first thing that came to mind. Some ran, and the rest were startled just long enough.
Alright, so you live out here by yourself?
Sure do. Had a wife for a while. Tribal girl, really pretty eyes. But she's been gone a long time now.
Alright, well,
Ain't like I've got places to be.
let's cut to the chase. Arcade asked me to gather all the remaining members of the Enclave.
Thought I recognized the fellow with you. So what's this reunion all about then?
He thinks your experience in technology will help resolve the conflict in the region.
Well, now there's an interesting idea. Do a bit of good before we're all dead and forgotten. You can count me in. Oh, and in case Arcade forgot to mention it, there's a 5-word passphrase needed to get into the bunker. My word is Auld. Appropriate, huh?
Alright, so we
If I
have...
had to pick anyone who didn't belong in the Enclave, it would definitely be Johnson. He hated what the Enclave was doing. Day to day, week to week, he would question orders, subvert mission objectives, do anything he could to serve without serving. It's amazing he was never court-martialed. He always had good things to say about my father. Said I was like him in a lot of ways. I wish I knew.
Why worry about it? You don't have to be your father.
I grew up without him. I'll always feel like something is missing from my life, but you're right. It's not like I'm the only kid in the wasteland who's grown up without a dad. Johnson always said my father was a good man. If that's the only thing about me that's like him, that's enough for me.
I was saying something. We have the 2 words dear and old now, and that is Cannibal Johnson. There's actually a couple of things I want to grab here first. There's an Enclave footlocker. There's a Grognak the Barbarian here.
Bandaging skills are a little rusty.
We're detected. Come on. I was hidden there for a second. Why are you looking right at me, dude? Come on, look this way. I need you to face this way. What did you do when you were with the Enclave?
Squad marksman. I'm pretty proud of the fact that I never killed a single soul who wasn't trying to kill me or one of my team first.
You make it sound like avoiding death was uncommon.
I'm sorry to say that it was. Civilian casualties was acceptable and sometimes encouraged. My former squad mate Moreno didn't need encouraging. Moreno and I might have killed each other if Captain Krieger hadn't been there to pull us apart. Be seeing you. Maybe.
Alright, let's try and sneak around and grab this real quick. Why are we... There we go. do it while we're hidden. Alright, and then the next thing that I want to point out, I'm not actually gonna grab it, is on this cutting board here, there's some mole rat wonder meat. And this is the only location in the entire game you can find that, so it is a unique piece of food there if you want it. Like I said, I'm not gonna take it, but it is there if you want it. So our next location, we're gonna skip over this one for now. You know what? We might as well go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and head up to this location. I was gonna save this one for last, but it doesn't really matter. Which one of these markers is it? Is it this marker here? Yeah, it's this marker here. It's just gonna be one of these random houses here. I want to say that one there. So we've met Cannibal Johnson and Daisy Whitman. Cannibal Johnson mentioned his Captain Krager and a guy named Moreno who he got into some arguments with. I wonder who we're gonna meet here. Oh, it's Orion Moreno. So this ought to be interesting.
Looks like I forgot to lock the doors again. If you're with the NCR, get out. This place is mine, and I'm not leaving.
Do you have something against the NCR?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. The NCR makes a habit out of wrecking homes. I came out here to get away from them. Didn't work out so well. Next thing I know, I'm squatting in their land. Never mind that I already been living here for years.
What do you do around here?
Do? I don't do anything. I'm retired.
What did you do before you were retired?
I was a soldier. Why do you even care? I came out here to forget about the past, so quit bringing it up.
Well, Arcade and I were looking for you. We're gathering the remnants.
Been a while, Arcade. So, what's the point of all this? Can't find any younger mercenaries?
Your advanced level of tech would be useful in settling things between the NCR and the Legion.
Is that right? The million-dollar question is, who exactly are we settling?
Do you have a preference?
I wouldn't mind cutting down a few platoons of NCR troopers with my old Gatling laser.
Well, I want to, are you coming to this thing or what?
Oh, I'll come. But depending on the plan, I might not be staying. Keep that in mind. Arcade might have mentioned there's a passphrase needed to get into the bunker. My part is, remember.
Alright, well, what did you do when you were with the Enclave?
Heavy weapons trooper. Nothing better than hosing down a target with an excess of bullets and laser fire. By the time I got through with things, not much was left standing. Any morons who didn't run when they saw me coming got what they deserved. Back then, it was war. If we'd been on the winning side, I'd be called a hero.
So, that's...
Moreno took the fall of the Enclave hard. He never questioned his orders, never questioned the legitimacy of what the Enclave was doing. To him, it was all one unbroken chain, from Washington to Richardson. When we left Navarro, I remember looking up at Moreno. He said, "Kiss America goodbye, boys." When we left the Enclave behind, the love in him burned itself out. Now there's just a bitter old man left.
Don't be too hard on him, it's part of who he is.
I suppose you're right. When you're part of something for that long, maybe it's impossible to let go without losing part of yourself. Moreno may be a stubborn son of a bitch, but at least he's loyal.
Alright, give me just a second, guys. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. So, we got 3 of the members now, and, we got Moreno here, who clearly isn't a big NCR fan. He wants to help the Legion, which, ought to go well great with the other members. But this next member is in Westside, should be right outside the pawn shop. Did I fast travel to the wrong place? I meant to fast travel to the pawn shop, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. as it is right here. So this next member is Judah Krager, the captain of the old squad.
You don't strike me as someone down on their luck. What brings you to Westside?
What do you do in Westside?
I help tend the crops, stand watch for fiends, and generally help keep things civilized.
How long have you lived here?
Couple of years now. I was a trader for a while, but got tired of all the walking. Westside was a good place to settle down as any.
Alright, well, Arcade wanted me to find you. I'm gathering the remnants.
Hello, Arcade. Making some new friends, are you? Why the need for a bunch of old war horses like us?
You'll be an element of surprise.
Swooping in on a vertibird, guns blazing? Haven't done that in years, but all right, I'm in. None of this means a thing if the rest of the group doesn't show up, though. Oh, and you'll need my part of the passphrase to get into the bunker. Navarro.
Alright, well, tell me about the old days with the Enclave.
I miss those days sometimes. We all had a purpose, you know? I admit that some of the folks in charge were pretty ruthless. The rest of us, though, we were just trying to civilize things. The NCR was still new, and it didn't look like they'd last all that long. Then we lost the oil rig, and shortly after that, the base at Navarro. Nobody left except us remnants.
What happened to the oil rig and Navarro?
Internal sabotage took down the oil rig. Never did get the full story. The NCR took out Navarro, saying we posed a threat to the region.
Well, tell me about the former squad.
I was the officer in charge, and Johnson and Moreno were my heavy hitters. Henry handled tech things, and Whitman flew the chopper. Johnson and Moreno never got along, and I had my hands full keeping those two apart some days. It was a difference in philosophy, mostly. Mercy was not part of Moreno's vocabulary.
Alright.
Uh-huh.
Judah Krieger is the glue that's kept us all together over the years, and with good reason. Anyone who can command Moreno and Johnson in the same unit without somebody getting fragged is one hell of a leader. Krieger was polite and kind, but never warm. He always did his best to make me feel welcome in the group. I think he did it out of a sense of loyalty to my father. Loyalty means a lot to Judah. Not loyalty to the Enclave, or even the ideals they fought for, but to the people who served with him.
They're loyal to you too.
Sometimes I wonder how much of my father they see in me. They went through a lot together, but my family went through it too. I'm glad they've watched out for me all these years. Maybe someday I can return the favor.
So we have one more person to get. Krager mentioned a man named Henry, sorry. And it's pointing us up towards Jacobstown. Do we know a man named Henry here in Jacobstown? We actually do. We have met this man before. He helped us with a certain cyberdog brain. And we helped him with his research. We assisted in what was technically Enclave research. But, he's not Enclave anymore, right? So, it's not like it matters, right? Alright, let's go in and talk to old Doc Henry.
Is there something else I can do for you?
Yeah, Arcade Gannon wants me to gather the former members of the Enclave.
I'm intrigued, so I'll go to this reunion. I'll be handing things over to Calamity, so talk to her if anything comes up. Oh, you'll need my word from the passphrase to get into the bunker. Friends. Don't forget it. Yes, yes.
Doc Henry always was a hard one to figure out. It didn't seem to matter whether he was working with humans or dogs. He had an equal lack of affection for both. A regular Diogenes. I'm not sure what the man was after. Knowledge is power, but to what end for Henry, I have no idea. The problem was what mattered to him, not its practical impact. He simply solved riddles because they existed.
His work was what mattered to him.
Not everyone dreams of being a revolutionary, I suppose. Maybe we can't all change the world. Maybe it's enough just to do good for the short time that we're here. No one's going to sing Doc Henry's praises when he's gone. But he's probably saved more lives than I ever will.
And with that, we now have all 5 members of the Enclave heading to the bunker. And we do actually have the bunker discovered previously. So let's just travel over there. We have the passcode to it. And let's see what we're doing here. Hatch to the Remnant's bunker. Already, I'm seeing some familiar structures, similar to Fallout 3. Passphrase needs to be entered in order to open the nearby door. Dear old friends, remember Navarro. It actually looks a lot like the Brotherhood of Steel bunker too. They're kind of similar. Makes you think the Brotherhood of Steel is actually using an old Enclave bunker. I wonder why. You see some suits of power armor here. You see a giant vertibird. And you see them all assembled here. They got a map right up here of the... What area is this? Is this just the whole map? The road doesn't connect down here, and that's confusing me, but I think that's Prim, that's the New Vegas area, that's Nellis. But then, like, there's a whole part of the map missing down there. It's kind of confusing me. Okay, well, let's, who do I talk to? Let's talk to the captain, I suppose.
Glad to see you made it here all right. So, who are we going up against?
Well, before we do that, I wanted to talk to you. What is this place?
This was a minor refueling station for vertibirds. It seemed an appropriate place to stash our equipment if we ever needed it. I'm surprised this place hasn't fallen apart. When I put it into standby mode, I expected to return to it within a few years, not decades.
How are you going to deploy your squad?
Marino, Johnson, Henry, and I will be the boots on the ground. Whitman will stay with the vertibird.
Alright, well, I want you to help the NCR hold on to the dam.
Then that's the plan. We're gonna have a problem with Moreno, though. He won't like that we're helping the NCR. You'll have to talk to him.
So, if you choose to help the NCR, Moreno is gonna get pissed off, and you can convince him to stay. If you choose to help the Legion, you're gonna piss off both, Hannibal Johnson and Arcade Gannon. I don't think you can convince Johnson to stay, and Arcade is actually gonna leave you as a companion permanently if you choose that choice. So I always go with the NCR here. Well, you're the officer though. Can't you just order him to go along with it?
I stopped being Moreno's officer a long time ago. Everyone here respects me, but they don't need to follow my orders. Not anymore.
Will he be a liability?
He won't turn on us, but he's a good shot, and I'd hate to do this without him.
What's his problem with the NCR?
Day one, we didn't. It's as simple as that. The rest of us moved on while Moreno didn't. Still, I'm not convinced Moreno hates the NCR as much as he thinks he does. You still might be able to talk him out of leaving.
Alright, well, I'll talk to him.
You've got only one chance at this. I know Moreno. Once he's made up his mind about something, there's no changing it.
Burgers? Omernas? The ones that run Gomorrah? Someone killed them.
And he just runs off.
Out here just so we could save the fucking NCR. I'm out.
He grabs his power armor and anything and just runs. What are you doing?
Getting my gear. What does it look like? What, you think I'm going to leave this here for someone like you? I don't think so.
Well, the remnants come in, guns blazing, showing the NCR how it's done. You actually don't want that? I've done it literally a ton of times. Like, literally. The NCR can't do anything. I'm always the one helping them.
I can't believe you've actually talked me into this. Fine, I'm in. But don't expect me to hold my fire if any NCR troops get in the way.
Thanks for doing this. Getting them all back together again. I'll be honest. When Moreno started going off, I didn't think we'd all be walking out of there in one piece. I still don't know how this is all going to shake out in the end, but at least the Enclave can atone a bit for all the damage it's done.
You've certainly done your part.
I've been wondering about Daisy and the others for so long, I still haven't figured out what I should do. I mean, I'm not like them. I was born at Navarro, and my father served with them, but I wasn't really part of the Enclave. It seems presumptuous of me to think I could join the fight, even if this is a cause worth fighting for. Because I know when fighting breaks out at the dam, all hell is going to break loose in Freeside. They're going to need every doctor they can get.
So here's the choice. You can have him stay at Freeside, in which he still leaves you as a companion for the rest of the game, because he's going to stay there. You won't be able to take him to the Battle of Hoover Dam. Or you can convince him to fight with the Enclave, where you can keep him as a companion. And that's what I'm going to do. What happens in Freeside won't make any difference if the Legion takes the dam. Fight with them.
Good point. You've been encouraging the others to stand up and fight. Maybe I should take the same advice. After all, I also lived in Navarro. There's something I need to go do, but I'll catch up with you later. Thanks again for your help with the others. It means a lot to me.
And he's gonna walk off. Don't worry, it'll only be temporary. Let's go tell Krager what happened.
Moreno's a stubborn son of a bitch, but he's also tougher than any of us. I'm glad you were able to talk him into staying. Since Whitman will be staying with the Vertibird, she's offered to give her old suit of power armor to you. You'll need special training to use it properly, so talk to her as soon as you get the chance.
I'll talk to her.
The training might take several hours, so keep that in mind.
I appreciate you keeping Orion in the group. Since I won't be needing my armor, makes the cockpit a bit cramped, you should take it. It'll take a few hours to show you how to use it properly, so let's get started.
The Great Khans got massacred again.
So this is the other point in the game where you can get power armor training, if you didn't get it from the Brotherhood. And the Remnant power armor, as you can see, DT28, is actually better than the T51B by 3 DT. So we're going to be switching over to that. We got 8 DT with the helmet, but I'm not going to do that because that'll take off our lucky shades here, which I don't want to do. And we are over encumbered now, so let me give something to Eddie here. Let's go ahead and give him this dinner bell and the hunting stuff here. And with that, that completes Arcade Gannon's companion quest for Auld Lang Syne. But I don't think we're quite done yet. Let's go ahead and leave the bunker and see what's going on.
Like I said, I needed to go do something. This is it. It belonged to my father. Since you convinced me to help out with the defense of Hoover Dam, I figured I'd haul it out of storage. I'm a little rusty with it, but I think I can manage. As long as you got my back, of course. What's up?
Well, what do you think the others will do?
I don't think you need to worry about the specifics. Basically, expect a lot of firepower and dead bodies. Enclave technology is even more advanced than Brotherhood equipment. And in the hands of soldiers as experienced as Moreno and the others, let's just say it's truly a sight to behold.
What's your opinion on the current situation?
I think you're on the right track. The only way to ensure relative safety and independence for the people of New Vegas is to prevent others from taking control of the region. That means no NCR, no Mr. House, and no Legion. See you around.
Alright, well, can I re-recruit him? He's walking back in there.
What's up?
Is he gonna stay in here until the Legion attacks? I thought I could re-recruit him as a companion. I guess not. Oh well, we'll just have to find another companion to take to the dam with us. Or I'll check up on how to re-recruit him in between episodes. But until then, I think that's about it for this episode. We now have the Enclave backing us for the big battle. We can't even get into the bunker now because they're locked up in there discussing battle plans. So next time we're going to be working on those finishing touches for Yes Man. I hope you guys are enjoying. Thank you for watching, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.